Welcome back! We have been building a Svelte client-side routing library for the past few videos. If this is the first video you are watching, well, which means you have been missing out quite a lot. I will have the links in the description so that you can go through the playlist and watch the previous video. So a brief recap of what we have done so far in the last video. In the last video, we figured out how we can do a click interception on the anchor tag correctly, which handles all scenarios of like links that's on the screen, dynamically created links, as well as making sure that we don't have incur any like memory leaks on the links itself, right? So you see that we basically can intercept all the click events on the link, and then we do a client-side navigation with the link tag. Also, we've seen ways to opt out that behavior. Whether you have a target, then you open a link in your specified target. If you have a no routing attribute, then you also can opt out. So we create this flexibility for the user so that we don't control all the link elements. We provide a workaround for you for the users to opt out. And in the last video, we noticed one small little bug, right? We have almost everything sorted out, but we still have one small issue with our routing library, which is that it works fine when you click on a link to navigate to a new screen, so that the screen content updates based on the URL. But if you click a back button, that's when everything breaks. When you click a back button, the screen still shows the current previous. Well, it depends on how you see it, but still shows the contents. Still shows the same content without going back to the previous page content. So obviously we're missing something over here, right? And I guess hopefully you should able to notice that we're missing out ways or place to call this match route function, right? Because match route is where we match the current URL with the route's definition we have, and then we use that to find a component to render the component on the screen. And we have that in a click event of a link, so that every time when you click link, we match routes and render update the content of the screen. But when you click back, well, the back button, we didn't add event listeners to back button, right? And we can't really do that because the back button itself is the browser's button. It's not any button on your screen on your HTML. So how do you intercept that kind of event? How do you handle that? So I've been trying to look for inspiration on the MDN websites. So this is the MDN history API. It says about all the APIs that you can use with history. And if you look at the examples section, well, the first line is the answer. Window on pop states, it will alert whenever the location change, right? Because when you push states, nothing changed, but when you click back, it alerts when a location change. Wow. So it's not about location change, it's when you click on the back button. So on pop state will be called when you click on the back button. Not just back buttons, also when you use history.back, it will also alert the previous states. The current URL, the current location on the document. Right, so we can use this. So I think this is quite gonna be a short one. So let's get back to our code. Sorry to jump in, but I got an important thing to tell you, which is that if you're coding along with me, the code for all this is on the GitHub repo. Link in the description. Just follow along. If you miss any steps, each changes are in individual commits. So you can just check out that commit and take a look at what you are missing. Now follow along. So here, let's see. We're gonna add event listeners to click. We are also gonna add event listeners to pop state function event And okay, I don't think we need events, but we just need the current location path name, like this one. So I'm gonna copy this, paste it in here, and I think that's it. So let's refresh. When I go to B, okay, sorry, this is a new target. I'm gonna remove these two links. It's just confusing to me. Okay, so I have one link for B and one link to C. When I click to C, I go to this page where I don't have any links to go to. So I'm gonna click back. So I can click on the back button, and now you see URL updates because I click on the back button. So it goes to the previous URL in the history stack. And then the content updates as well because we handle it with a pop state. We realize we check what is we listen whenever we have a back event, and then we get the current location path name, and then we call mesh route to render the component that matches this URL. Right. And I think that's splendid. We don't have to do much. So I'm gonna show you another thing over here. If I have a button with an on-click event that does the history dot back. Whoops. Like this. I'm gonna have this button with a history dot back. Here, if I click this back, it should behave exactly the same as clicking on the back button. So I click on back, and back you go. You get a previous page. Notice the URL, notice everything over here. There's no browser navigation, it's all client-side navigation. We basically did our routing, right? And what cool about that is that, you see, I can do gesture back and forth over here like this, and everything still works. I can go backwards, forwards, and our client-side navigation, client-side routing libraries. Yay! Okay, so it looks nice right now. So of course, there's rooms for improvements, definitely. So the first thing we're gonna improve on is if I try to build our code over here like this. Okay, let's clear this. Let's try to build our code. Let me expand this. I try to build this npm run build into one bundle, index 65197. Okay, whatever, and I'm gonna run npm serve. Sorry, I don't think we have. Oh, probably we don't have this command. Is it? Oh, I forgot. Oh, preview. Sorry, if I can't npm run preview. Can visit this to preview this page. Everything works, right? Everything works. Cool. If I inspect elements, inspect the network tab. Let me just refresh this page. Network. You see that there's only one bundle being downloaded. Yeah, I mentioned that just now. And if I try to open this bundle, of course, it's quite hard to read. It's not that much big because we're using Svelte. But still, we try to search for B. You find B. You try to search for C. You can find C. Try for A. You can find A. What is that ABC thing that we are trying to search for? Well, ABC is the content of the header that we have over here. So meaning we actually create all the component A, B, C are bundled together in this one bundle itself, right? So the more routes you have, the bigger the bundle it gets. Everything is bundled into one. So we're gonna do some dynamic route. We should do some dynamic imports. We should support that in our routing library. And that's what we're gonna explore in the next video.